Good afternoon. Get yourself a cup of coffee. My name's Tom. Welcome to Beaver Creek Deer Camp. It's 11 o'clock in the morning. I've been out in the tree stand since 5 o'clock this morning. Cold, cold, cold. I went through 2 thermoses of coffee. But anyways, I did have some excitement. So I'm gonna put this out on Sunday. Today is Saturday, last day of the hunt for this week. I've been in here for 4 days. Yesterday I've been following out these runs. As you all know, I haven't had that much time for scouting this year. You know, building this building took up most of the summer, and getting a little road in here for the 6-wheeler, all that stuff took time. So the scouting I had been very limited. But a week ago, I had put out a tree stand, not too far from here, but it was on a couple of runs, looked pretty decent. And the more I thought about it, I said, you know, it's just the way the lay of the land is. Everything butts up against the Beaver Creek down here, and a lot of the deer runs follow Beaver Creek. So I decided, instead of sitting in that tree climbing stand that I put in, I decided that I would hunt and scout just a little bit. I don't normally do that. Normally I'm a stand setter. But because I don't know the area and I need to get knowledge, I decided that I would follow these deer runs out a little bit further, because I know I'm in a good funnel, but I also know that I'm not at the very tip of the funnel where all the runs come in. I was on a couple of runs, 2 or 3 that have been there all summer, so kind of knew that was good, but that didn't take in the account everything that would be coming up the stream. You know, following up the stream to come around the swale grass. And the way my land is laid out, the swale grass comes way in, so it makes this big loop around. And I knew I wasn't taking into account the deer runs that should be coming from a different direction. So I followed out them 3 that I had and tried to get towards that swale grass, so that I figured something was down there as far as runs go. And sure enough, I followed them suckers out, and I got within spitting distance of the swale grass, and then some of it was actually right in the swale grass. I found some deer runs down there that were literally cow paths, looping around that swale grass, which I figured was there. So that give me, I can't even count how many runs are coming in right now. I think somewhere between 5 and 6 runs are meeting where my tree stand is now. So I brought in a leaner tree stand at the beginning of this trip, but it was just laying here beside the camp, because I hadn't really had a spot picked out. So part of my scouting yesterday was to try and find a spot for that tree stand, because next week is, as far as I'm concerned, one of the best weeks to hunt here in the state. So my plan was to find a tree and find a spot that was good for that stand, so that it would give me the tree climber, plus it would give me another tree stand that I could bounce back and forth with. So once I found all that, it was yesterday morning. I hunted until about 11 o'clock, and then I took the next 3 hours and installed that tree stand, which sounds kind of crazy to a lot of people. But I'm behind the 8 ball. But it's not the first time I've been here. I mean, I put in tree stands. I called it a 10-minute buck that I shot within 10 minutes of I slapped up a few 2x4s and a seat in a tree, and 2 days later I shot an 8-point buck out of that tree stand. So this isn't unheard of for me. And then one other year I had a tree stand, one of my favorite ones. I got out to hunt it, and a tree had fallen across it and smashed it all to pieces. So that coming week, I went out there and with a screw gun and 4-inch screws, some new lumber, and put that stand back together, salvage it for the season, because it at that time was one of my best spots for taking bucks. And you know, when you get finished with a project, it took me about an hour to put that stand back together. There's no fire in the cabin. I'm kind of chilly. I don't want to create smoke right now. But anyways, that stand went back, put it together and all that. Within an hour, I had it all back together. And then all my tools was laying on the ground. I had hammers and crowbars and a screw gun and a box full of tools. And I also had my thermos of coffee, and I also had my 30-06 because it was a hunting day, but I needed to put that stand back together. So I climbed up in the stand because that's the only place that had a seat to have a cup of coffee before I canoed home. I sat in that stand no more than 15 minutes having a cup of coffee. I don't even think it was that long. I want to say 5 to 10 minutes, but I don't want to lie to you either. So let's say it's 15 minutes. Within 15 minutes it was a small buck, but that's all right. I took him anyways. So I had that screw gun driving 4-inch sheetrock screws. That thing was squealing as them screws went in. But so I don't know if he came out for curiosity or it was just plain quiet there for a minute and he figured he could make it. Whatever he come out for, it wasn't good for him that day. So it's not unheard of for me to be playing with tree stands during the season, after the season, and before the tree stand. I don't buy into a lot of that other stuff where it don't disturb the woods. But that's my own humble opinion. You know, I'm not, I don't get any hate mail here. So anyways, I put that stand in yesterday. Getting back to how today went. Yesterday that stand went in. This morning I was in that stand at 5 o'clock this morning. And yesterday I sat there until dark. After I got the stand in, came back here, changed my clothes, put on some warm clothes, and then went out and sat in the stand until dark. Didn't see anything last night. But this morning was a different story. This morning, on my way out to the tree stand, I hunt with, not always, but this morning, this is Tinks 69. And you put it in one of these things and there's a wick in there and you can hang it on a tree. So I had this in my pack and I said, well, you know, I think I'll throw that out there this morning. I'll take, I know there's a buck in the area and I know there's several bucks in the area. So maybe this will give me the upper hand that I need. So I got out there at 5 o'clock this morning, put them things out, and about 8:30, I didn't have my grunt call. I have a buck grunt call, but I haven't been using it, so I left it back here in the cabin. But about 8:30, I had a buck off to the left of me, and he was grunting what he was doing. He grunted 3 times, and I believe he grunted because of this stuff. But a couple things is going on right then too. I know this stuff is smelling up the woods, but also the wind was in my favor all morning. From 5 o'clock on, the wind was in my face, and it was blowing my scent out across the swale grass, away from everything. But about 8:30, 8:45, the wind started to blow in different directions. So right about the time that he got a good whiff of this Tink 69, shortly afterwards, you know, he's not going to come running right in. Sometimes they will, but I think he was just working himself around. And about that time is when the wind changed for a few minutes. And what I'm thinking anyways, I'm thinking that he got a whiff of this, but he also got a whiff of me. Because I didn't see him. I heard him, and he grunted 3 times, just as clear as a bell. So, but hey, they're in the area, that's all I need. So I'll be back out there. I've come back to the cabin to get warm, fill up the, get warm. I guess get warm means put on some warm clothes and drink some coffee. I don't want to build a fire in the wood stove. But I'm gonna have some soup, and I'm gonna have a sandwich, and then I'm gonna get myself back out to that tree. But I know you guys like following along here, so I wanted to put something together quick. So I am going home tonight after the hunt, and just to grab a couple of things, get this video uploaded for you guys, and then I'll be back here Monday morning for all of next week. So other than Thanksgiving, I'll be going home for Thanksgiving. I'm probably gonna hunt Thanksgiving morning, and then just try to be out of here where I can be home. My family usually has turkey dinner around 1 to 2, so maybe I can scoot in just before 1 o'clock and have turkey dinner. If I haven't got my deer by then. I'm hoping to have my deer by then. Tonight is Saturday night. I might take a doe if I get a chance at one. Just because I got the doe permit and we got one more week of rifle season, then it's on to muzzleloading season. So I'd like to fill both tags if I can, but we'll see what happens. Well, I say that, but 9 times out of 10, I'm going to let that doe walk by. It's just after a while, I like to get a paycheck, and a paycheck is putting the doe in the freezer. You know, when you put in enough hours in the woods, after a while, sometimes you just want to get a paycheck. I'm going to bring the old GoPro with me this afternoon so I can span the view that I've got from up in that tree stand. And at this point, that's where I'm going to build the big pipe staging tree stand. So I've got my spot picked out. So as soon as deer season's over, I'm going to start trucking in the pipe staging. And I'd like to get that in place and maybe build that thing over the winter time when I have a little extra time anyways, and come back here, warm up, just haul in the materials with the snowmobile, and continue right on building the plan. So thank you for coming along today. I enjoyed sharing the hunt with you, and I really had a good time on the live stream the other night. If any of you missed out on that, the live stream here is great. The internet connection is great. So we had a really good live stream. Go check it out if you want to. I named it Live Stream Test at Beaver Creek Deer Camp, if you'd like to check that out in the videos. Alrighty, I'll see you next week.